Hello and good morning. I welcome you to the morning meeting today on Thursday, not Tuesday, Thursday, the 29th of March 2018. My name is Jens Klatt and I'm the global head of research and education at JFD Brokers, exclusively presenting you this event here for JFD Brokers. And we want to have a look at the markets. And 1 second, please. And what we can expect right before the prolongated Easter weekend here. And in fact, the DAX is right now pushing back above 12,000 points. This is something I in fact expected. The only problem we have right now is that you only will see the German headline of my research piece here for the German audience. But there you can see it already. The market is right now going for the current weekly highs, and if we make it above them, by the way, there's further room up for another 100 points here, up to 131, 160 on the upside. And so this is something I in fact expected. The only thing is, and this is probably even more interesting, so first of all here, JFD Research, and on the website from JFD Research here, you can find those research pieces. I think you will mainly look at those English pieces here, sure, but nevertheless, let's have a look here at the German version. That's the piece I wrote for today, a technical piece, and there you can see the headline, where obviously the number of 12,000 points plays already a role, which you can see here. So in what it reads like, DAX has still a chance to close above 12,000 points before going into the Easter weekend here. And this is exactly what's happening here. So, or right now, so the DAX is clearing 12,000 points. Let's just see if further momentum is brought up. Probably you are now interested, am I long or not? So in fact, you can double check this here via the website from FX Blue, where the so-called JFD JK basket, which I manage here, where you can not only see the results, but also the open orders. And what you can see is that there's obviously no current position in the DAX here. In fact, yeah, there are two, but these are not my positions, let's put it that way. So usually you can see here, since I have something like 20 to 30%, something like 25% right now, of the overall risk of all positions, which equals to 0.25% per day. And that's one of the reasons why when you see a DAX position here in these open order window via FX Blue, you can see from time to time, most of the time, the biggest position in effect here. So usually I hold a position which is close to 10 contracts in the DAX, and so far you can't see one here, and in fact you won't see one here. And this has mainly to do with the fact that I decided not to have a position right before the Easter weekend. The main reason for that is, first of all, I know that the system, I'm discretionary trading, an automated system, in fact. So I have a signal provider, let's call it. It's a system which has an entry and an exit, and I know that this strategy itself is already already having a positive expected value, yes, and that means it makes money in the long run, and my target is to optimize this expected value. So in fact, the entry signals are generated automatically, so I go long or short then in the DAX, but nevertheless what I try to achieve is to optimize my exit out of the market if there's one move or the other in a certain direction. And so what's probably interesting is that yesterday I was long. Unfortunately, due to this very choppy price action here, I was stopped out break even, unfortunately, and then just seeing that the market pushes higher. So in fact, there were two things I want to mention here. One is that I saw a good chance that the market has a potential up to 12,000 points yesterday. So this is this is really unlucky, let's say, because if you're getting stopped out here in this region and then seeing the market moving in your direction, that's definitely something which you do not like at all. And the next thing is probably even more interesting. I was about to hold this position here also into this trading day then, so into today here, to migrate this trade. into today if I had still this long position, since I think with diminishing volatility, chances are clearly given that the market will more likely drift on the upside than reverse aggressively, see higher volatility and sell off sharply. And so this is in fact one of the other reasons why I don't have a position today, since today I know that the system would have generated a short signal. And this is one reason why I then say, okay, probably it's better to just step back, because I don't see so much chances that the market will really move lower then. I mean, there's still a chance that this will happen, nevertheless. So far, it seems as if my view of the markets is not that far from the truth, respectively, that wrong, because the market is moving higher instead of moving lower. And so I feel quite comfortable to have no position at all, even though I have to say that I'd really like to have a position here still from yesterday, which I migrated then, because the market is behaving the way I hoped it to behave. Unfortunately, again, I was stopped out here, unfortunately, and that's a little unlucky. So now the question is, how can we trade the DAX today? Difficult to say, in fact. So in the German version of the morning meeting, I suggested trading the break here to higher highs from the long side, with the stop probably below 11,960 points. So far, this idea is playing out. Now the question is, will there be a significant break of this current region of the weekly highs? If so, again, there's further room up to 12,100 and higher, probably 12,130 to 12,160 points then above that. And yeah, that's it. So nothing more to add here from my end on the DAX. The euro presented itself quite interesting yesterday, so still very choppy action. If you look at the 4-hour chart, you can see that we're still range bound, even though yesterday we dropped below 123.80 here on the downside, and saw some further losses down to 123 and slightly below that, and are taking this region again now. Main driver for the current US dollar strength, not only against the euro, but also probably noteworthy here against the Japanese yen, for example, on a daily chart. It's a very, very green bullish candle we get to see here. Main driver for this is that GDP data, yes, I'm sorry, for Q4 2017 came in above expectation yesterday. So the third reading was revised higher, was expected to be revised higher, came in with 2.5% before, then was expected to come in at 2.7, and really was released yesterday at 2.9%. So, and that drove US dollar, or initiated momentum here in the US dollar, and not only resulted in the push here towards and above 106 in dollar yen, but also drove euro US dollar down to 123, and even lower probably here, or will drive it lower, even though don't expect too much action right now before the Easter weekend. Main reason is that also here liquidity will thin out, and since equity markets are not open, I think chances are not that high that we get to see huge volatility, but instead probably wider spreads as usual. And that's one of the reasons why stepping back from the currency markets also is probably not the worst idea, or at least, let's say, reduce your position size. Yeah, so that's it on Euro USD. This is it on dollar Japanese yen, since the picture in fact hasn't changed. So everything below 107.50, 108 should be considered bearish. There's some room probably if we make it above that level up to 110.50 if the US dollar can take on significant momentum. Therefore, have a look here at the dollar index future on the daily chart. We have a bottom forming, and we are about to attack the region around 90.30, 90.80 here. If we make it above that and break out of this downwards channel or downtrend channel, then there's further room on the upside in US dollar. That's, by the way, also something which could drive Euro USD towards 120 probably, and even lower than that. And one of the main drivers for the US dollar could be that we play some, let's call it catch up here, with the dollar LIBOR, respectively OIS, so overnight index swap rate spread, which is usually positively correlated to the US dollar, and is currently on a steep rise higher, while US dollar hasn't taken off so far. If this divergence is rather sooner or later closed, unfortunately I don't have a chart right now, but just believe me that this is the case. So if this divergence rather sooner or later will close, there's at least a chance that US dollar will close the gap instead of LIBOR OIS then declining sharply, probably mainly due to the fact that the current drive higher in this LIBOR OIS spread is caused by speculation around further restrictive Fed and hiking rates here in this case. Yeah, and so this is definitely something worth noting in this context. Again, EURUSD could push below 122 over the next days, weeks probably, and then head for 120, while dollar Japanese yen probably can lighten things up a little from a technical side by making it above 105 here. And by the way, while talking about the US dollar and yields, definitely makes sense to also have a look at gold. So gold saw a quite sharp drop yesterday. Not sure if this drop is over yet, but the thing is that I'm still positive for gold. So I have a positive outlook for the US dollar. This is usually counterintuitive then if you look at gold, because usually expect if dollar rises, gold to drop, and vice versa. So in this context here, not sure about gold, even though the current drop here, even though the overall price action seems to be choppy, I still consider chances to be higher that we attack 360, 365 instead of falling below 1,300, which is, by the way, my line in the sand here, where I say then, okay, below that level, I don't want to be long gold anymore, even though I could imagine a short drop below 1,300 probably trigger long against the November highs from 2017 and then taking off from there. So still, the picture in gold is positive, even though the overall price action currently is not that promising anymore after yesterday's drop. So probably it's worth to at least wait for a clear significant break above 360, 365 here on the upside, instead of now trying to anticipate it, even though it's still an option for very aggressive traders then. And that's it from my end. Happy trading. I would watch your stops. I wish you a very nice Easter weekend, and talk to you again next Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. GMT here in the YouTube channel from JFD Brokers with the next morning meeting. And take care. See you. Talk to you soon. I look forward to it. Have a nice day, and bye-bye.